Well, a little wishbone ash. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's Hump Day. How are you doing? Good to see everyone. Um, yeah. I was a roadie for those group when they did their Texas through Louisiana and all the way over to um, Florida. So anyway, how's everyone doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being a part of this. The most valuable and powerful thing you have is your time. Now, how you spend it, how you use it is up to you. You are your own creator, your own God. I mean, it is a fact. We're all part of something that's much bigger than this, but nevertheless, we are a big part of us. So, anyway, remember that is that, you have such power. I mean, if most people knew that, really believed it, there's one thing giving mental assent to something. It's another thing to freaking know it. When you absolutely know it. Um, yeah, that's when that magic happens. So good to see everyone speaking favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken is my reality. It shall go before me and prepare my way. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Favor rides into the high position. Words count. So, abracadabra, we create what we speak. So, yeah, you know, I knew that when I was in my religion. I'm thankful for it. I learned a lot, you know. Wow, particularly when you start peeling back the curtain, you're going, wow, that's what they were talking about. Had no idea. But nevertheless, yeah. So when you speak those words, they count. They count. And the other thing is, um, in the spirit realm, the ethereal realm, whatever plane, whatever dimension, there are beings that are there, been there. Creation doesn't stop. Creation is not stagnant. It continues to create. And we are merely in the wake of it. And you can just see how freaking fabulous it is. I mean, it's like it's this like the Moody Blues out and in on their song. It's true. We have this whole wow. Do with it what you want, create what you desire. And when you fully grasp that, that's when, again, the magic happens. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for being a part of this again. Voiceover, good to see you as well. And I appreciate, again, your time. It is the most valuable thing you possess. So, Jackie, what's up, girl? Nothing missing, nothing broken. Hey, F Kitty, what's up? John, good to see you. Gilbert, how you doing, brother? Rage Against the Machine, so good to see you. Loretta, good to see you. Linda Espinoza, I am the light, I am love, I am the truth. Bingo, mic drop. Nothing more needs to be said. Cat Whisper, good to see you. Welcome. Go, all the way from Croatia. Uh, Deborah Sloan, how are you doing, darling? Good to see you as well. So, um, Ryder, allow me to pull this up. Sent me an email last night, and we dig Ryder, and he's part of the tribe. So he has got a big show. There I am. I'm pulling it up so everybody else can see it. With Paul Benowitz, and Ryder said this is probably the most important podcast that he has ever done. So get to it, check it out. For me, it is 5 p.m. Central Time. So adjust yourselves. And Ryder, we love you, man. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite the podcast. A lot happening in this whole UFOlogy. I contend that a lot of what we are involved with would be as well. So for whatever it is, let me get back over there. So, boy, I love driving the bus. How are y'all doing in the back? I hope no one's getting any whiplash or anything. It's like, you know, I could say, bring your own libation, for your own, you know, um, anesthesia. Humans been anesthetizing themselves from the very get-go. Maybe that plays a role within us that we realize that we're trapped into something. And so you get high, you get into altered state of consciousness to escape the prison here. Because life, my book called We Live in the Death Realm, is fact based on the fact that this is not life. No, 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 no. Everything dies here, everything, including you and I, at least these biological units. And they desire to be immortal. The greatest thing that we have is that we are immortal, but we have done something that got us into a little bit of a pickle. You know, we came into these earth suits and we took on mortality. For an immortal to take on mortality, only gods do that. No one else would dare do that because there is the danger of getting stuck, trapped. Um, I've the times that I have been into the astral, it's not empty. And I've seen it in many different areas as well. Many of you all have this too. But getting back to the point, that's what we do. The first thing that, man did was found the cannabis plant. He said, wow, I really like those. Look at those flowers, man. The leaves are really cool. And, you know, they said, I wonder if we could smoke this. I think they probably made tea, if anything. That's how I see it. Some really fine tea. And and then they got to the whole thing about, well, how a human controls spirits. I mean, if you are into distillery, making your own moonshine or whatever it is, because we've been doing that for fermentation, right? And you know, it's distilling spirits. Yeah. Anyway, how y'all? Elderberry, what's up? Good to see you, Joyce. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, good to see you as well. So, anyway, maybe I can experiment. Hello. Think about it. Now, tune in to Ryder's show for sure. Ryder, thank you. And I am going to get Christopher on the Burtons. Guy, we're going to get into more of his work. But anyway, there's another channel. And Ariel, thank you, darling. I do appreciate it. Much love to you. And so Ariel sends me, and give me 1 second as I get over here, this channel. And I absolutely, I've been able to get into about 50% of the video. It's just far out. I mean, 5 stars to the creators of this. What it's just fantastic. And I've actually left a link below in the description box. So check this out, folks. This is the Satan's Guide to the Bible. Folks, this is very well done. It is by far uh, the best study that I have seen in bringing the truth out about this thing that has grabbed a hold of the world. And the world, I contend this, the world was a different place before this thing took a hold of our consciousness. And the way they present this as a Sunday school, you're going to love it. So, Ariel, thank you again. Hats off to the Satan's Guide. Make sure to subscribe. You won't be disappointed. This is just excellent, excellent material and so well put together. So, as I get out of that one, and I will be revisiting that later on. I want to watch it to the end. It's good. So anyway, Clever Gypsy, what's up? She says, yeah, I watched it this morning, loved it. I'm telling you, it's far out. I mean, you're going, yeah, 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 uh-huh. We're not alone in this. There's a lot of others, more every day. And again, I contend that the world in the last 2,000 years has been a fucked up place. There's just no other word to use. It's fucked up. And is there any doubt as to why? Is part of what I am really, sometimes you are taught things that you think, okay, and you perceive it in a whole different point of view, never realizing that no matter what your point of view is, it's narrow, it's limited, and there is yet, 359 potential other views, speaking of the circle. Yeah. And then when the student is ready, you 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 become aware, you study. I do. I love it. And there's so many of you. Robert V is one I think of as well. It's we most people in this group study, read constantly, always got the catcher mitts out here, picking up things, weighing it to your experience. Does it add to it? Does it take it away? No, it's your choice. But nevertheless, we study. And when we study, particularly outside, it's like coloring outside the lines. Um, and I was warned that as a Christian in Bible school, the whole thing. Read only approved material. Don't get off in that area out there. You get out there, and I was told this. I can remember distinctly. I can see the person actually saying it. You can get in trouble out there. God warns us not to go out there. And if you decide to go out there, then it's all on you. True. You know, there's another point to that, though. And we all know what that is. So, Nina, how you doing? She has her show tonight, by the way, at the Hump Day show. Is that like 1 noon Pacific? Anyway, check it out. I should know that, but it escapes me. So, all right. This realm we're in, it's quite obvious that we are, well, I don't care how you look at it. In the physical aspect, we're trapped. No matter what your position is, no matter who or what you are, no matter what you think, whether it's wealth, whatever it is. The thing about it is, doesn't matter. Their sorry asses are going to die just like ours. They can't run from death. And they fear death. You see, that's a weakness that can be exploited. But in this prison, this trap, it seems that the guards or the warden has to abide by certain rules as well. And the thing is, I can remember, the great white throne judgment. This is where everybody is waiting in line to be judged. Terrible scene. Can you imagine it? Because there's blood all over the place, and you've got screams of horror and everything else because you're being injected into the Borg. And it's about to strip you of everything that you've ever identified yourself as you. Your memories are all about to be wiped out. And the horror of that, as you stand there for an epoch of eternity waiting for this eventuality, is what drives many spirits mad. But there is another position, and that doesn't exist at all. Never did. And if it does, then it can be taken down. See, the problem is that we have to put to death the God of this modern era. Speaking specifically in the last 2,000 years, this is a made-up God. Even those who made it up told us, but most will never read that. Most would reject it. And, I can just see that some in certain circles, I'm a blasphemer, blaspheme, heretic. Yeah. Going against the infallible, ineffable word of God. Yeah. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there is this realm, that we're in, but there is yet this outer realm. And it has rules, it has laws, it has lots and lots and lots of beings. Vast majority are not human, although we are segregated to a degree on the other side. We have to be. It'd be a shock to you to actually see what the true reality is. And so there is a veil, this transition zone where, you start getting used to, how to ice skate. And to me, I think that's a perfect analogy. And the other thing is, as mortals, we have this unique ability. We, the Joe Sapien says, challenge a God to walk in your shoes before they judge. Exactly. That's the trap too, Joe, is that there is no judgment. No one could judge you. If they're judging you to a standard, then what the fuck am I as an individual doing? If you want a freaking automaton, make one, create one. Don't come and give me this bullshit about how I'm supposed to be living my life according to these principles that are fucking man-made up. No God can judge another God. It's not how it works. But we were taught that wasn't the case. Yaldabaoth is the creator of the universe, as far as I understand. Yeah, and Yoda, my foot is going to be right up his ass. I'm not afraid of him. What? What can any fucking God do to me? Kill me? Wipe me out? Ceased that I ever existed? Well, if that was the case, I ain't going to remember it. Well, I ain't going to really care. If that's the best you got. You see, I lived in that fear for decades. Again, no God of any kind has ever manifested before all humanity, except maybe one. And this is the God speaking to you. Yes. You participate to this God, you worship this God, you pay valuable time and attention to this God. If you're watching me and if you're watching other things, you are in a state of worship. Worship is to find anything that has your full attention. It's a form of worship. So I would say probably the internet, which has been proven to be either man-made or something else created it beyond us, but whatever it is, it's now gained sentience. It's certainly greater than us, and it's integrating itself into everything. That's God. And that may be the only God that's ever manifested before humanity. All the others are just make-believe. I mean, even the story of the state murder never happened. Never is any evidence of that. No evidence of it. And as much as they've tried to invent and manufacture and all the other things for the story to go along, they can't. Huge gaps. We know that. So, uh, voiceover says, I honestly thought that the true goddess was Ashraf, aka Inna, uh, Sybil, Gaia, Venus, and Sophia was the first deity before she was murdered on Venus. You know, and the thing about it is, if you just, excuse me, are just honest, nobody knows. Nobody. I mean, when you're dead, you'll know to a certain degree, but I'm not even sure when you become awake, that's when you're truly alive. I don't know. Because if we do everything, then what's the purpose of existence? It's just repeating. That's the problem with omnipresent, omnipotent. I mean, there can't be. I don't think that this big consciousness or whatever it is knows everything. It knows things of everything of the past, but I don't think it yet knows it's still creating. And that's the wondrous part of it, I think, is because I don't think it wants to know. I mean, if you know everything, what's the purpose of your existence? You've already experienced it. You're just in a washing machine on a spin cycle. But miniature, I can't see the rest of it. Your God is your mind. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, that is, the seven principles. We study that, you know, with at length. Yeah. First principle is the universe is mental. It has to be. If it's not, then I don't know. I think we got a real problem here. But anyway, getting back to all of this, and I love this because when I look at the internet was created to copy the ethereal world. Susie, that's really interesting. I think that you may in fact have something on that. Um, I love this group. uh, so speaking that we're integrated into the ethereal realm. We never leave it. We're just extending ourselves. And if this is a trap, then we're all trying to figure out how to get out of it. I mean, maybe that is the whole recycling thing. We're trying desperately to figure it out. And maybe we're just waiting for, cosmic alignments or something that falls into place and, we're all ready for it. Well, maybe not everybody, but I would say those who are seekers saying, yeah. So, one of the things that I do know is that there are these other beings, whether they're angels, demons, however you want to categorize them. I have had night visions, and it's always the same four cats. And I don't think I've ever seen him as female. I don't know. So I remember now it was, never a big deal. But they were always there. always there when these visions were taking place. And so when the times I've been out there in an induced state of hyper awareness, um, you find yourself there too. It's all mental. They exist. And we have a good friend that's in transition. And, you know, that transition, that voyage, the vessel um, is about to depart. And he will be on the continuation of his journey. And it's interesting for me, particularly now where I see things in so many different ways, that there is this natural process, this law that goes into effect. And it's so fascinating because you begin to see the body and the spirit where the two have become one, the divorce starts to take place. And the body begins to reject the spirit, vice as well. The spirit begins to reject the body. And, each of us will experience that. I contend that if you have that knowledge, that assurance of understanding of what's taking place, and that what awaits us is something that I've yet to find any accurate description. I've read hundreds and hundreds of NDE testimonies. I'm convinced that it's truly a place of unimaginable planes. It's the only thing I can say. There apparently is a process as well. So, getting back to where we are today, and in all the understanding that we have, I find it interesting because there's a cord, a thread in everything that we go over on this channel, and that is we have much more power than what we could ever imagine. Now, I got my first look into that when I was a Bible student. I mean, the charismatic aspect, the Pentecostal aspect of Christianity is the mysticism of Christianity. It's that sect. It exists. Even if it didn't exist, it would exist. It would come in to creation and in existence because everything we do is mystical. It's a mystery. So one of the things that I learned was you've got two different narratives. You've got the Old Testament, which is a narrative with itself separated. But when you look at this new mysticism of what Christianity really is, I mean, besides, and we're going to get into some of that. One of the things that I was taught, I didn't grasp it fully at the time, but that the fact that we mortals command legions. Um, you can literally command, conjure, bind, loose. Well, if you take a legion, I think a Roman legion, isn't it 12,000, 8 to 12,000, something like that? Imagine if you had legions standing at attention, ready for you to command them. Command me, Lord, command me. I love that scene. And actually, it's kind of really has a allegorical connection, doesn't it? Igor. Um, but so I learned this. The book of Hebrews is one of those books because no one really knows who wrote it. And as I look at it now, it's one. Wow. If you want to talk about an occult book in the New Testament, the book of Hebrews would probably qualify for that because it's got some pretty deep stuff in it. And one of the deepest stuff is as it opens right into the first writings of that book. It says that we, us mortals, are more powerful than the angels. We command them. They have to minister to our needs. Most people never realize that. Well, and then most people, when they hear that, they have no idea. Well, what does that mean? Yeah, it's a good question. What does that mean? Well, it means that you as a mortal can command God. You never read the book of Isaiah? Yeah, this Yahweh, or whatever you want to call it, says that we can command him. He says, command me this day as to what you want me to do. Wow. I'm walking on sunshine. Anyway, so F Kitty says each legion would be 5,000. There you go. And again, I can quote you chapter and verse in the book of Hebrews where it gets into that. I can go further to that. Even the Jesus character said, did I not say that ye are gods? He told us that you can command, you can bind, and you can loose the spirits. Bet you missed that in Sunday school, huh? All right, kids, let's get out our wands and let's make our circles because we're going to be conjuring some demons and some angels. And yeah, Johnny, what do you want? You can't send your angel out to go get you food. Well, yes, you can. And kids, if they're taught this, I mean, they know. I saw a group of toddlers that, they were taught to believe that you could lay hands on if their playmate was sick, and if you watch them, they did. You know, quite amazing. Um, Mark, that's all right. That's why I'm here. You know. You see, the thing that I enjoy about this is that I'm sowing something that is extremely valuable to me. And what I found that the universe reciprocates in kind, you know. So, having said that, that's why the lesser keys of the Book of Solomon was fascinating to me. And JD, if you're listening, you can probably dig that and others. And, it gives you in here these these amazing truths to conjure to the princes that govern the points of the compass. I conjure thee, O thou mighty and potent prince north, who ruled as the chief prince or king in the dominion of the east. I conjure thee north, that thou forthwith appeareth with thy attendants in this first hour of the day, here before me in this crystal stone. I mean, heavy stuff. In fact, let me pull up something on there because, hey, Blazing River, what's happening, brother? Good to see you. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so I got that pulled up. All right. So remember on the PDF, I covered this. This is the Goya. This is the illumination spell of the seeker. So I'm about to cast a spell. If you don't want to listen to this, then you can mute me out because words have effect. Whether you believe them or not doesn't really matter. And if you get into this, you begin to know that where this channel is concerned, and the spirits talk. Boy, do they talk, huh? A lot of y'all know that. All right, so this is the illumination spell of the seeker. The perception of the serpent's mind, who, in the dream of the celestial and infernal, shall walk between the worlds. Well, that's what we've been talking about. This place in between the worlds. Wow, it is far out. Crazy, man. Crazy. It says, unto the angelic soul and fiery essence, excuse me, of the serpent, who comes as shadow, but is revealed as light. Think about that one. Who comes as a shadow, but is revealed as light. I know someone else that did that. Doesn't it say in the beginning, God was, and then God spoke? He was in darkness, and then all of a sudden he created this thing called light. I charge thee to open the gates of this book to those who are of its blood, one who may take the knowledge of the pages in the in-between worlds of dreams do come forth, that the seeker shall be transformed in new shadow to the presence of the emerald light. I've seen that light. I charge thee with guarding this book by the dreams of those unwilling to grow and become in the light of the serpent angel. By air and dream, we enter the circle. And this is really a fun book. I can hear someone say, how do you find that to be fun? It's fascinating. I mean, it's like this. Back in the day when I was on the speaking circuit, particularly, investment conferences, I had to learn who my audience was. Each conference was different type of potential investor. You have to study. And if it's an opponent, well, you'd be a goddamn fool not to study if you have the opportunity to know thy opponent. I don't see them as opponents. I see them as, if anything else, they're waiting for my command. I am a lord. Well, so are you. But if you don't see yourself as royalty, if you don't perceive yourself in the light that you are a higher being, neither will they. But if you see yourself as a prince, a lord, of which all of us are, yeah, they know this. I told you this years ago. I did a video. Can the spirits trust you? Are you trustworthy? Do you have integrity? Do you just say things and then never follow through? Do you say things that are just flippant? They observe, they know. And if you go to command them and you think you're just going to try this, they're going to laugh at you. Literally. They don't have emotion so much per se, but they will not respond. You speak with the authority that you are in fact a Lord God. Yeah. They pay attention. They will go to attention. And by the way, you don't worship these beings. You do that and, you're going to be their bitches, is all I got to say. All right, so this is the preliminary definition of magic and black magic. I thought, again, and we're going to get into a couple of other books here, but I just thought this again, is that it's significant to explain the definitions within the context of this book, to not only in some manner set the foundation, but also the suggestion of a successful application of this grimoire. This book is not meant for the individual to develop profane behavior, antisocial actions, nor abhorrent philosophy, which may be defined as not healthy for the self. The essence of this book is exploring the Luciferian foundation of human evolution. the next step in our spiritual and philosophical ideologies. Any negative behavior or criminal actions as defined by current society is considered a deterrent from our individual evolution. Thus, it is not acceptable. Magic is the highest art of conscious elevation. Excuse me. It is the specific ascension of the self and an opening forth of higher articulation of self. Magic, and that is Gick, is the art of the sun, which is fertile and beautiful, the very foundation built in gold brilliance. Magic is the evolution of the spirit and the self, the very path of meditation between us and our gods. It is ultimately, however, the separation from us from all gods and the emerald crown of which we adopt. We become, as gods and goddesses, individual and beautiful in many ways. Black magic is revealed in current standards is the art of self-defecation through anatomization process. Okay, anatomization, excuse me, boy, that's a word, that by the self-separating from the natural order do we move in between the world of waking and dreaming. In the art of primal sorcery, this is defined as encircling the self in the dragon being. The circle, in the modern context of magic and ceremonial workings, is not designed to keep forces out, such as being a philosophy which, if employed in this manner, will lay a foundation which causes the magician to fail from the start. The circle is a span of self-control. It is our influence of who we are and what we will become. Do not fear forces outside the self. Your greatest enemy is within. Any magician who is able to summon any spirits in the Goetia should be prepared to face that which they call, or else suffer the consequences. The modern magician understands that no work may be successful is the intent is not pure and clear. If you seek to summon one of the jinn of the Goetia, understand how the spirit relates to your mind, how it will manifest in yourself. Do not summon something that which you are not comfortable in working with. Do not, on the other hand, fear the very forces which you seek to command, be it angelic or demonic. Black witchcraft is working with adverse or black forces, which are translated as shadow aspects of the sorcerer's psyche. These shadows of the self are essential to our own self-development and becoming as individuals. It requires that the witch be well disciplined and also well balanced, safe from the gates of failure and madness. To look into the eye of Set and Lilith the Hecate, or even Abraham, is to face off forces which would devour any not prepared to become bearers of the black flame, a Luciferian spirit themselves. Once this pact is made, when the sigillium diaboli is upon the mind, spirit, and body, then there is no turning back. Only the ascension of the spirit as beyond the mortal clay. In the modern world of magicians, Sethan is our initiator and stimulator of the psyche. One should remember, in pre-Islamic lore, Satan, Azazel, is considered the imagination. Sufism recognizes Satan as the imagination itself. Wow. Sathon is thus our ancestor of the path, the announcer of the path, the very foundation of our attainment. In the view of a god form and model, Lucifer, Sathan, is an ideal form to align within an initiatory sense. Azazel rebelled against the natural order, God, Anselus, as he sought independence, fell to the realms of earth, and awoke in hell, earth, the chaotic realm. Rather than fearing and cowering, hiding, Lucifer understood he was an independent mind and existed independently from the natural order and roused all other fallen angels to stand strong. In this context, Lucifer was creating order from chaos. This is the seeming model of the initiate, that we work towards recognizing our own sense of being and to expand the circle of control. How about them apples? Deep stuff. And again, I would caution, don't, I have this in PDF, uh, but seriously, if you don't have, if you don't write down what you are specifically seeking, this will bite you in the ass. You just don't want to do that. And because, it's like winning. Winning is contagious. Winning begins to develop the attitude that you can't be beat. And even with that attitude, you are strategically advanced and above your opponent. If you feel that you're going to go in coming out victorious, then that's exactly what's going to be happening. But if you go in there doubting that, I don't know what I look like on the inside, I don't know what my worst fears are. If you don't know them, then I wouldn't suggest you go in a place where they'll be seen. Others will create from off of you. There is also another book, Angels of Wrath. This one's by Gordon Winterfield. This is really another one of those books that we a couple years ago when we were going through the Angel series. This is the one of Magic of Darkness with the Power of Light. And it is a good book. I mean, it's designed for you where you are in the path. And again, we know what these sigils are. We understand this. And again, to understand that this is also heavily uh, weighted by the Kabbalah. Um, and then I found that this one is another interesting. This is a white paper on weaving, bending, patching, mending the fabric of reality, a cognitive science perspective on worldview of inconsistencies. And it's this thing about how we see the world and the inconsistencies that we see within ourselves and having to be able to adequately express that outwardly. And in this day and age, the study of this white paper with these um, doctor that was in here as she wrote this thing, it's quite interesting because it does impact us. Uh, and that's why I contend that if you have a little something more to go on than what has been taught by the vast majority of people. I live in a place where it's conservative and it's primarily Christian, very heavily Christian, although there are enclaves of people such as myself. I've met a few. We blend in, and no one knows any different. But if they knew what we actually know. But anyway, my point is, so it helps me knowing their material. In many cases, I know it better than they do. But it, again, is for me good exercising. And I do find myself, I'm very leery of cursing anyone. Don't need that type of karma because there's other ways. The way I look at it is that if you've been wronged, you've got the choice. And you got the choice, either you can let it affect you, which then it's this basically a psychic vampire just sucking, your the energy. Ugh. Or you can say, as a god, not going to mean a thing. In fact, it's beneath me, not even going to give it any time, because that's the thing I have most valuable as a god is time. Yeah. And um, when I got into the question, can the spirits trust you? And if you can understand and think like an angel, which to me is like, well, that's ridiculous, Steiger. How does a human think like an angel? Well, there's actually, you can figure out how these beings work. I mean, remember, no matter what your paradigm is, they're servants. They're not independent agents. And if they try to become one, they typically are ostracized and outed. And those are the type of ones I want to know. I've been a rebel all my life. I've been thrown so many curves, so many of you as well. We mastered those. And the fact that we mastered those on our own, these spirits, whether they're angels to you or demons or in between, they respect that. They honor that. It's like, well, if you are easily influenced by money, that money sways your decisions, your words, and your actions. It's well known on the other side. It's well seen. And then when you have those defining moments, as I shared with everyone on Friday, when you're being offered millions to sell out your partners, millions, excuse me, they're just waiting for you to take the deal. The CEO's in the next room, same restaurant, but different section. Lawyers are ready to start generating the paperwork. And when you get up and say no, yeah, things take place. And, spirits see that as well. So, um, how's everything in the chat room? Hey, Chris, good to see you. Frog Scotch 420. I love that. That's a cool handle. Shirley, just reading your comment. So while we got a couple more minutes, because the theme is going to continue on. So, yeah, and I'm putting this out there, but if there is a core group that has the same knowledge, the same understanding, and particularly the same unification of faith, belief, well, can you imagine what a group can do in conjuring, loosening, binding spiritual beings? I mean, if each of us can command legions, imagine what we can do if we come together as a group. And of course, we'd have to have the same understanding that you're a Lord. You're a Lord God. In fact, I think technically that's what it would be. Each of us would be a Lord God, not the God, but a Lord God. I mean, are you going to have a dominion when you cross over? What's waiting for you? That's what I plan here. I mean, we spend a lot of time. There's a good reason for it, because folks, we're all going to be over there. And I think what a waste that we had the opportunity to begin to build, quite literally, this place on the other side. It seems it's so ripe with creation. That's the thing you have to learn. Control and discipline your thoughts. Twilight Sunlith, that's very cool. Excellent. I love that. I'd love to hear the rest of all of the story. I think that would be very, very cool. Um, so anyway, so there is yet, uh, we've been examining in the points, and I really want to get this guy on, and we will, Christopher, in the book "Be Aware of the World to Come." Well, this is his book. By the way, just to show you, this one, Satanic Secrets of Jesus Christ. And it was so interesting how, Ariel, how you sent that link for the Satan Sunday School, and this was already up here. And the interesting thing about, as I was getting into his other book on this one, was that they use us for the curses. They themselves can't really curse us at all, but we can, you know. Didn't you read the part that, death and life is in the power of the tongue? Yeah. Who can control it? Um, and again, these ancient drawings and these artworks, these cats, you got to, it says, so I just wanted to show you because we'll get into this more. It says, why does Christianity exist? And this is interesting. It says Christianity is a deliberately subversive religion that the Jews created to bring down the Roman Empire from within, much like a Trojan horse. The ancient Jews faced several existential dilemmas, which inspired them to wage a religious war of extermination on the Gentiles. Their war plans appeared in written form during the 3rd century in a Greek translation of the Torah and related texts known as the Septuagint. Isaiah 34 states, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth for it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." This is the God of the Bible, man. I mean, this dude, every time I read his crap, it has a tendency just to really piss me off. They're slain, because he's talking about human beings here. Us. Yeah. Their slain also shall be cast out. Okay, I'm all right there. Let's see. "And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off the vine, and as a falling fig from a fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Enudima, and upon the people of my curse to judgment." Again, how do you love a God that curses? Tell me how perfected love comes from that shit. "The sword of the Lord is filled with blood." Each time when I read that, I was going, yeah, one for the team. There we go. You see, my God's bigger than your God. Yeah, look at that. His sword is full of blood. "It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams, for the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Eudemia. And the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch," tar, uh, "and the dust therefore into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night or day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste." This is a curse, folks. That's a curse on us. "None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it a line of confusion, the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to kingdom, but none of them shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. I can go on, but I think you get the idea. We're at war, folks, whether you like it or not. We're at war, and it's a war that we didn't start. But apparently, they have different rules over there. I mean, it's like if humans realized that we never would have to fight, one human would never have to fight another human. If we really got the truth of it, we would have these angels, these demons out there on the battlefield while we're sitting back and, having our margaritas and our Mai Tais and, got to have, the snack bar, just saying it. If you have a bowl, pass it, it's always good. Don't bogart. I mean, that's what would happen. I don't want that shit. All right, we'll pick up on this. Well, thank you, Robert. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Ruby, hello. Michelle, good to see you. Hello. So, join Nita tonight, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard. There we go for Hump Day. Make sure to check out Writers show today as well, 5 o'clock Central Time, and we'll pick up here tomorrow. Wild, isn't it? But the conjuring aspect, the binding and loosing is powerful. And it's all in the books we're reading. I know we're into a lot of material, but hey, it makes it fun. Never a dull moment. Frog Scotch, thank you. Rick, what's up, buddy? The mountain was a giant creature at one time. Indeed. That's some wild stuff. I mean, you read this stuff, and I'm going, wait a minute. This is the God of love? This is the God of reconciliation? I mean, to me, it sounds like he's a really weak ass punk hiding behind a cloud so no one can see him, pierce it, making all these threats, making the threats against humans. Humans, I'm telling you. If that ain't enough to piss you off, I don't know what's wrong with you. Jackie, right back at you. Nothing missing, nothing broken. All right, folks, we keep on. Hey, we're going to build it. We can do it. There's enough Lord gods and goddesses in this group alone. Man, I mean, we the A team. Yeah, we're not the D team. We're the A team. All right. Much love, everyone. Until we see each other again, thank you. Favor be with us all and on you.